Hello and welcome everyone to this live demo session on SAP UI5 and Fiori training on SAP Business Application Studio with AnubhavTrainings.com. In this live demo session, we are going to look at introduction to SAP UI5 followed by a live use case in the Business Application Studio tool. This training is designed for an absolute beginner or a fresher or a ABAP consultant who is willing to venture into new technologies like UI5 and Fiori development with freestyle application development. My name is Anubhav. I have total 20 years of experience in the field of SAP and I will be your trainer throughout this journey. Let's look at the agenda for this demo. We will try and understand who is this training for and how this training can be mapped to the persona of a developer when it comes to designing and developing Fiori applications. We will then talk about the overview of this course, what can you expect in next 40 hours. Followed by that, we will discuss our demo use case. Finally, we are going to talk about some of the FAQs and question and answers. So let's understand who is this training for. If you are a developer, a college fresher, a SAP consultant, whether a technical or functional SAP consultant, or a technical enthusiast, or a user experience mock developer, all of these personas is going to help you. So our first persona is Alex, who is currently working as a UX designer, helping companies to develop and design UI mockups. This training is going to help him so that he can utilize the concept of SAP UI5 and Fiori technology to create real application. Then moving on to the next persona, it is Thomas who is working currently as a technical advocate, who is currently working in industry as a UI technology expert. He would like to venture now in SAP's UI technology, so-called UI5 for building applications. The third persona there is about Jenny, who is currently working as a ABAP consultant in a company building ABAP dialog program and screen program applications using ABAP technology. We would like to help Jenny to become a full-fledged Fiori developer where she can build, deploy, and transport applications on ECC, S4HANA, or on BTP platform. Finally, we have Maria, who is currently working as a fresher, have no experience in the market, and aspire to become a SAP full stack developer. If one of these personas meeting your requirement, then you are at the right place. So let's see what can you expect in the next 40 hour of this journey. In this 40 hour, we will first start with fundamentals. As many of you come from ABAP background, you have never worked on web application development. So we are going to cover as if you are a college fresher. So we are going to talk about basics of HTML5, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, and also setting up our development tool like Bash tool and VS Code tool. You will see the end-to-end setup to create applications in your local machine as well as in cloud. In the step 2, we are going to discuss about SAP UI5 development by understanding the UI5 framework, the software development kit provided by SAP, and how to build application using model view controller architecture. In the third phase, we will discuss about Fiori user experience. You will see what is Fiori user experience and SAP's mobile library with latest concepts like component preload, router, route match handler, manifest JSON, and deployment descriptor to finally deploy your application into the cloud and on-premise. In the last phase, we will learn about freestyle OData development using Gateway Service Builder and expose the ERP data into the cloud. You will be utilizing that and eventually consuming it in your web and Fiori applications. The course inculcates all the steps starting from design to development to testing to packaging to deployment and taking your application into production system where end users can access it through the so-called Launchpad. This course is designed for an absolute beginner, a college fresher, a ABAP consultant who have never worked on UI5 yet aspire to become a SAP dialog programmer or a WebDin Pro programmer who want to become a Fiori developer. You can join this live demo and live classes starting today. Having said that, let's understand what we will see in this demo today. I will first of all start our development tool, which is called SAP Business Application Studio. If you are a developer or a college student, you may be using VS Code or Eclipse or maybe a SAP GUI development tool. In a very similar way, we have this tool called Business Application Studio. In our next class tomorrow, I will show you how to set up Business Application Studio free for yourself. But as it's a demo session today, I already have set up that and I will show you creating an application on same. In the second step, I will create a UI5 project using model view controller architecture. We will then create and test our application and finally run our application in the web browser. So let's get started and understand how to get started with UI5. So we'll first understand what is UI5. Let's try to understand the definition. So SAP UI5 is a framework to develop responsive web applications. So what do we mean by word framework? A framework is nothing but collection of classes, libraries, or I would say collection of libraries. What is a library? A library is nothing but it's a collection of classes and modules. What is a class? A class is nothing but it's a collection of methods, attributes, events, and aggregations. So we are living in 21st century. In this century, the time is gone when you used to write every small part of applications in the past. As a developer, you used to write C program like hashtag studio.h and conio.h. Bye bye to that time. These days, we are living in 21st century where we have so many powerful frameworks where there are reusable components. By using them, you can quickly and swiftly build your applications. These applications automatically work for mobile, tablet, and all the different kind of devices. That's the benefit we get when it comes to these applications. So SAP UI5 is such a framework which allows you to design and develop applications which are responsive. So what is responsive means? Responsive means an application which adapt itself according to the device. So you don't have to write multiple lines of code for different devices to support. That's exactly what responsive meaning. Fabulous. So in order to build these applications, we use a tool called Business Application Studio. So if you are working as a developer, you will actually go ahead and use so-called Business Application Studio tool and you can create the application accordingly. Now, whenever you build an application, you always have to follow certain architectural principles because we are no more in college. We are actually going to build enterprise application. So we have to follow certain architecture. So application can be extended in future and it can have maximum reusability. To be able to achieve it, we use the concept of MVC: model, view, and controller. Absolutely. So these are the three components we are going to follow. So a view is nothing but your input output. Your user will input output with your application to a view. A controller is where you will write all the processing logic. This is what a controller is all about. And a model is where you will keep all the data. So this is typically the flow of process we will always follow when it comes to designing and developing the UI5 and Fiori applications. Going forward in this training, you will not just learn the UI5 application, but you will also learn how to create Fiori application. So in today's session, to keep it simple, I will just have a view and a controller. So I will be designing a button, and on click of this button, I will be writing a processing logic to display a image. So the processing logic to display image will be written in the controller class, and the code to have a button will be written in the view. The views are written in XML language or XML markup. I will explain XML in detail in unit number 9. But the logic to write in controller is written in JavaScript programming language. Please note, you would not need to have any Java knowledge to learn this training. We need JavaScript, and Anubhav will cover JavaScript in unit number 4, 5, and 6 in this training in detail. So, as a college fresher, you all can understand whatever basics are needed to learn Fiori development. Having said that, let me switch over to my development tool to get started. So, this is how our development tool look like. It's called SAP Business Application Studio, and here I'm going to create a project. So we have an option to get started with a quick start project where it will automatically create the skeleton of a Fiori application for us. So I can click on create a project, and the system will open for me the options to choose different kind of projects I can create. I will start with SAP Fiori application project, and then I will mention that I want to create a basic Fiori application. I will now have an option to choose a data source. Where will my data coming from? So since I don't want to today select any data source or a ERP system, I will choose none over there. Now in the next step, we will specify our view. As I mentioned, we are using model view controller architecture. So view represents our input and output. So I will give the view name, let's say main view, and then I will just go ahead and give a unique project name. So let's give a unique project name as Anubhav Demo, and I can specify the application title. Let's provide an application title as my first Fiori app, then give a namespace which uniquely identifies our application in the repository once you deploy it. So I can just provide Anubhav right now, and then I can end up creating the application. This will now create a basic skeleton for our app, and then we can start editing this application according to our needs. Absolutely. So soon I will be getting an application which is ready, and I can just open the folder where the application got created. So I choose projects folder where the application got created automatically, and I will switch to the projects folder now. So soon my development tool will restart, and then I will have an opportunity to view my projects folder and experience the application coding. As I mentioned to you, as part of my use case, I will be adding a small button on the screen. So let's go back to the system, and we should be seeing the application project over here at, in few seconds. So now I can show you the generated application. As you can see, it has created a basic view, which is my screen, and a basic controller where I can write my logic. Beautiful. Now I can straight ahead go to preview my application first. So I click on preview and I start my application as if I'm doing a local testing. Obviously, as a developer, you would first test your application locally, and then later on, you would deploy this application wherever you want. So you can see it is loading up. I go to index.html file, which is the launcher file, and I will be getting my first application preview. There you go, my first Fiori app. Fabulous. It is the time that we go ahead and add a button. To be able to do that, we can right click on the view and we can open this view in a layout editor where we will get a low code, no code tool to drag and drop, design and develop our application, enrich it with the UI elements. You can see it is loading a graphical tool which allows me to choose my UI components and design my application the way I like. So what am I going to do? I will be adding a button control to our screen. Followed by that, we will add an image as well. So I will choose here a button control, drag and drop, and give the button text as click me, enter. You can see the text is changed. Now I will choose a image control and drag and drop the image control. The default image is a Phoenix UI image. You know what? SAP's UI5 old name is Phoenix UI. Phoenix is a bird. That's the icon of UI5. But I personally like Donald Duck. So let me go to Google and search Donald Duck image. Wow. So I can pick up any of the image of Donald Duck and I can right click and copy image address. Let's come back and change the image address over here. And what system would do then? It will change and show me the image of Donald Duck instead of the UI image. Now, if the image is not appearing, perhaps it's not a correct image. So copy again a different one, put it correctly. So we should be getting a proper image on the screen. So this way we can actually design our user interface. One more interesting thing you can notice, the element ID. A element ID is responsible to uniquely identify a control on the screen. So in future, if I want to do any dynamic programming, I can always use this unique element ID of the screen element depending on my need. So let me reopen the view, open with layout editor. So I can actually see and experience my screen properly with the Donald Duck image. So initially what I will do is to hide this Donald Duck image. Actually, just see why it's not coming. Just try to put it correctly. It has to display. There you go. So now initially the image should be disabled or hidden. So we can come back down to the property called visible property. There are a lot of properties on the right side you can choose. So we will go ahead and say, please make my image disappear initially. It's called visible property. I make it visible false at the start of the page. But now what I will do is when user click the button, I would like to display this image at front of user. So this allows me to now write the processing logic. And where is the processing logic written? As I mentioned, it's written in the controller class. So let me go back to the events or to the controller class where I can write now my logic over here. Fabulous. So I can go ahead and define a function to write all my logic. So what I will do is I will also switch back to the view in the coding mode. So let me open with editor and this is the coding. So I will now add a event called press event and I can say on click click. Yeah. That's my event name. So the event handler or the function where you will write the logic will be written in the controller class. So let's do that. And I will say, I would like to go to my view object, go to image object whose ID, which we saw already was image of 0, right? This was the ID of the image. Can you please make this image visible at runtime? So set visible equals to true. Now you may be wondering, Anubhav, how is this logic working? What is this get view? Where did you get to know that? What is this by ID function? All of this we will learn in unit number 9, 10, and 11 in more details. Yeah, we will be doing that. Okay, I save this now and I'm fine with the setup of our application at this point. So the moment my application logic is now ready, I'm going to proceed further to test our application. So to be able to test, we are going to head over back where the preview is running and I got my button. Wow. I now click the button and Wahala, you can see my Donald Duck is coming up. So this is how exactly we can design and develop our application in a very simple manner at the beginning using SAP UI5. You may be wondering there are a lot of files, controller, CSS, 18N, model, test, view, component.js, index, manifest. Who is going to train me on all this? Exactly. So my training is a promise of no copy paste. I am not a trainer who come, copy paste the code, show the output and run away. Rather, I will be writing all of these files and folders at front of you, explaining you every single line, all the basics, all the fundamentals, including all the training things. This is what we will be doing as part of our journey. So you saw the simple demo session. Let's go back and understand some of the frequently asked questions by you with regard to the demo. So first of all, what will be the duration of the training and what is the prerequisite? The duration of the course is 40 hours. There is no prerequisite for this training other than basic programming skills. If you are a developer or aspire to become a developer, know any programming language or worked on any programming language, then this training is for you. You can learn it. The timing doesn't suit me. Can I go with video mode? Yes. You can opt for video mode training for the most recently completed batch and ask your questions over the email. This option also applies to those who want to fast track their learning and don't want to wait for the live batch to continue session by session. Anubhav, what tools are we going to learn in this training? We will be building our applications on Business Application Studio and VS Code tool. In my next class tomorrow, I will show you how to set up and install necessary tools as part of your laptop. You can do it from your personal or from your company laptop. The VS Code tool is absolutely free for a single developer. So, what about server access to practice OData? So, we need OData server only for last 10 sessions of this training. And in session number 29, where I will guide you how to get a system access to practice OData. It's my promise that all of you will go out of this training with proper hands-on. So you can use your company server or we also provide server option for all of you to practice OData as well. Now, will you cover real-time scenario? Yes. This training covers real-time scenario with end-to-end application development, including design, development, packaging, deployment, and delivering your Fiori applications to production system. I'm new to UI5. Can I learn? Yes, you all can learn UI5. Only thing you need is aspiration to learn. Even a college fresher can get started with our training because in this course we will cover basics of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and jQuery. Just to mention, there is no Java knowledge required for this training. As an ABAP developer, we are scared of word Java. Don't worry, no Java is required. If I miss a class, how can I refer? Each class will be recorded and you can watch the recording once it's done. So even you miss a class or you are not able to focus, then you can review the whole training session after the class by watching the video recording. What is the process to enroll for this course? The process is very simple. Contact at anubhavtrainings.com. That's our official email ID. You can send us an email on that official email ID. With that, thank you once again for being part of this live demo session. I hope you enjoyed the live demo. I'll see you in the next class tomorrow at the same time. Till then, happy coding and goodbye.